Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm unboxing Monumental African Empires, various titans and stuff, all the various new stuff from Monumental African Empires. I do have my knife over here, as well as the remaining dregs of the coffee I'm in the middle of. I don't know about you, but I am anxiously awaiting when I can go back to my Ember Mug coffee unboxings. It is finally the weather. I mean, as evidenced by this over here. We finally are getting towards the weather that requires me to go back to hot coffee. So the hot coffee unboxings will be back soon, probably. I've had like one or two, maybe three even. Maybe three Ember coffees since the weather started to get colder. But it's Cleveland here, and Cleveland, I mean, I'm sure lots of places like to say this about themselves, but Cleveland definitely likes to say this. You cannot rely on the weather at all. Once the weather starts changing, it's going to be 70, then 30, then 70, then 40, 70, 50, 40, 70, 30, 20, 70, 60, whatever. It's all over the place for like a good 2 months before you can in any way reasonably rely on it being cold. That said, I don't like the cold, so I don't mind not being able to rely on the cold. Those gifts of hot, warm weather, whatever, in middle, they're always a delight. But let's get back to the topic of the day, the Monumental African Empires unboxing. First of all, if you're new to this channel, welcome aboard, thanks for being here. Second of all these are unboxings and ramblings, that's specifically what they are. We will loosely talk about the game. In this case, I'll talk a bit about Monumental, but I don't know much about the African Empire. Well, I know a little bit. It's been so long, I don't possibly remember much about it. But let's start with the basics, and the basics are, this is coming to you, I can't get a hold, there we are. This is coming to you from Funforge, who this campaign has a lot of upset people around it, reasonably so, because this game took forever to deliver, and basically, the short version of it is Funforge, ran the campaign a long time ago, and then they proceeded to tell people that everything was okay for a long time while things were not okay. That led to a lot of people feeling, gaslit, which is the price of telling people things are okay when they're not okay. Like, I've always been sympathetic to companies having to play these games to just stay afloat sometimes, or to get to the right place. And the problem is, when you have backers involved along the way, all those decisions are coming with the fact that people paid money up front. So I'm always sympathetic to the fact that companies do have to make hard choices, but sympathetic or not, the natural consequence of telling people things are fine when they aren't fine is you will lose a lot of trust with the audience. So I understand the decisions that had to be made and juggled to not incite panic when things are not okay, but it still means that the end result of your decisions are the end result of your decisions. So that's kind of where we are with this one over here. So basically, backers have spent a long time being told that everything was okay for this expansion to Monumental from Matthew Dunstan, who is a delightful human being from the little that I've interacted with him. And I always feel bad when a designer is caught up in the consequences of the company behind them. This is obviously a big thing from, did I give the people the proper warning? This is an unboxing and rambling. We will loosely talk. I think I did. I think I was in the middle of that. Point is, we're going to go all over the place, and that is what it is. We'll talk about this, whatever shows up, a little bit about the base game, a little bit about the changes, a bit about how Matthew Dunstan is a nice guy, and about how the Saylor brothers got similarly trapped up with Blacklist Games doing all of that drama. When designers are attached to things that go wrong, I feel bad for those designers. They're usually not involved in the decisions that led to this place, and they have to deal with the people who are upset, possibly with it. Like I know, going to Essen, I believe Matthew Dunstan went to Essen and was by the Funforge booth for Monumental Duel. But like people might go by and be upset at him for things he didn't do, which is very, very tricky. Anyways, back to the game over here. We have our rulebook over here. I don't know if this is going to be a complete new rulebook or it's going to touch upon the changes. Basically, African empires, I assume, let's see, does it say what this is? The African empire expansion introduces trade, an entirely new aspect of power. Does it say whether this is a new thing? It kind of, no, it just has, you see, it goes straight to 2.1, the trade. So it's not completely rewriting the rules. But here's the deal, continuous play mode. That's the big thing over here. You see, Monumental is a game that I really enjoy. I think it's an excellent game. I think it looks beautiful, has beautiful productions. Some of the best miniatures I've seen in games, like some really solid miniatures. I'm excited to open up the Titans. I don't know, boxes are smaller than I thought they'd be for €35 a box, but whatever. It's a beautiful game, looks beautiful, plays a lot of fun. My problem with it so far has been that I've liked it best at 2 players because it can be a slow game, and 2 players is the least amount of downtime to get to the parts that you like the most. So, great game, but I need to play it more, and I haven't played it in a bit now because I've been waiting for this expansion for a very long time, and I just want to table it again. But I want to see the continuous play mode, because the point of the continuous play mode was something that was supposed to, did I go past it already? It's something that's supposed to speed up the game. Now, I remember reading the rules for it and being skeptical that it would speed up the game, but it's something I'm happy to try, because why not? We have new Autonomy over here. I still haven't played it solo. Despite Jeremy Howard telling me it's a good solo game, I still have not played it solo. We have the new characters, the new gameplay changes to the factions and whatnot. We have some new maps over here, so just new stuff for the game. But the basic idea of the game, without getting too much into it, is it's a 4X adjacent game. I don't think it's full 4X, but it's that kind of exploratory civilization game. But you're going to be dealing with deck building. Ooh, these maps get large quickly. Oh, that's a nice large map over there. You're going to be dealing with deck building, where you have tons of cards that are going to be going into a 3x3 grid, which I don't know if they're going to show you to you over here. But you're going to be creating a here we go. Here you go. You're going to be creating a 3x3 grid. And then you activate the row and column of a card. So you pick a card, you activate the row and column, and the remaining 4 cards that don't get activated stick around until next time. So you're trying to build these chains where your activations can work together nicely. That does mean that the game was a little costly on table space and a lot costly on downtime. That's the tricky part with the game. That was the biggest problem that I had with it, was downtime. And I'm excited to, oh, my kid's going to be so excited seeing this because he has been playing, like, I talked about how I haven't played with the game that much recently, but I pulled it out a while ago, but it's been like, I want to say it's been a year easily since I played this. But either way, my kid plays with it all the time. Not playing, but he likes the miniatures of this game. It's one of his favorite games, and now he has new factions. 5 new factions to go over with what looks to be pretty good miniatures. I'm not sure if I like them more than the others. I like him. I think the detail work is some of the better ones. I do like that more. But either way, let's go and show you some punch boards over here. Punch boards are just going to be punch boards. We're not going to focus on them that much because there's just a bunch of tokens. We have our little card pools over here. This track for, is that for continuous play? I don't know. We'll find out. That is popping out because that's a punch board and it's supposed to pop out. Either way, those are the 3 punch boards over here. So nothing too crazy as far as that goes, which is what you'd expect. It's a punch board. But we have the miniatures, which we have 2 trays in here. We sort of have 2 trays. Let's show you what we kind of got. Okay, so we got more bases, which we won't heavily go into. Some of these over here. Some of these tokens, which are these meant to be the blue? Oh, okay, fine, okay. That's the extra things. We got these here. We got the fun little upgraded tokens over here, the upgraded resource tokens. Anyways, we have this. You know, let's do the miniatures last. Let's put the miniatures off to the side, because miniatures being last usually is fun. I haven't often seen tiles like this, saran wrap, not saran wrap, whatever, shrink wrapped, saran wrap. I haven't often seen tiles like this shrink wrapped, but either way. Anyways, Monumental was one of my first unboxings on the channel. I want to say it was my 4th, maybe 5th. I think, oh my gosh, Follow the Mountain King, or in the Hall of the Mountain King, was my first unboxing ever. I didn't, and still I only loosely understand unboxings to an extent, because you're watching somebody else go through the content. And to me, I want to go through the content my own. Unless I want to live vicariously through you or see what's in there. So I guess there definitely is an audience for unboxings, but the reason my unboxings have always been unboxing and ramblings is because that I find the most interesting. Meaning, if I don't know what you're going to talk about, then that's something I actually want to watch, because who knows where your mind's going to go during the course of this video. That's why these have always been on ramblings. Because I remember one of my first, in fact, am I thinking about this right? I want to say that doing my unboxing, I could be wrong here. I'd have to go back and watch it. I'm going to go back and watch it now. I want to say my original Monumental unboxing was filmed on the floor of my... It was filmed on the floor, I believe. If I'm thinking of the right game, it was filmed on the floor. And I think that might have been my first unboxing and rambling. I think that's the one where I was unboxing Monumental, but I ended up talking about like 3 or 4 other games doing it, and I was like, yeah, whatever, this is just what happened. We just talked about some stuff that came up during the video. And I think it's kind of where I like the fact that it's like, this unboxing to me felt right compared to the prior unboxings where I felt like I was like, hey, here's stuff, and I'm showing you stuff, and I'm excited about stuff. And I am excited about stuff, but I think the Monumental one was the one where I was like, I like the rambling part more than anything else. Now, they always vary. Sometimes I'm a little bit more on topic, sometimes a little bit less so. Sometimes my mind goes into all kinds of crazy corners, and sometimes it stays a little bit more on the rails. I remember one of my more recent favorite unboxings was one where I went on this whole coffee journey, of my entire journey with coffee, of like how I've evolved and the types of coffee I like and consume over the past years. I like that one a lot. Anyways, back to this over here. We got tiles. So, you got more tiles over here, more pretty, attractive tiles over here. I cannot wait. My son is going to be playing this later today, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, we got some cards over here. Let's look at some cards, because the art is great in this game. Like, it's great art, it's great production. It's just the real problem is that it didn't show up for a long time, and people would be reasonably upset about that. Going back to FunForge and people being upset, this is the true FunForge credit. They refused to ask for money, which some people were like, just ask us for money so we can have our stupid game, but they didn't. I don't know why they didn't. I'm actually very curious. Like, when you have a large portion, and the problem is the portions, that might be the problem, because you could have, you know, let's say 10% of your backers might be like, well, just ask us for more money because we want the games. And the other, 90% might be like, no, we're waiting, we're fine with it, we're cool with this delay. Not we're cool with the delay, but maybe we prefer to being asked for money. So there is a danger of listening to a portion of your backers, thinking that's what all your backers want. But it did seem that there were some people who, and like I was in the camp for sure, I had spent a lot of money on this, I was beginning to think I would never see it, and so being asked for like a $30 contribution, I hate that word. I hate how we've normalized it. We've normalized the contribution label where it's like, hey, can we get a donation for the thing you already paid for? Because again, crowdfunding is not a store, blah, 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 blah. Crowdfunding is not a store, but crowdfunding is certainly something where people pay money and expect to get the product. And if they don't, that contribution feels like such a offensive term for please bail us out. But again, I am sympathetic to companies that were in that situation. The pandemic was strange, the pandemic was weird, and the pandemic caused an increase in costs. And so people who had charged X for something that was supposed to cost Y, and instead cost Y times 25%, or times 1.25% technically speaking, that means there's an increased cost that they didn't budget for, and it's not like typical business that just evolves and changes. It's, hey, the world underwent a pandemic, which we haven't done in quite some time. So I'm sympathetic to companies, but still, it's not a contribution, it's a fee in order to get, like, it's a tax. Call it a tax. Don't call it a contribution. Don't make it sound like a volunteer when it's not technically speaking a volunteer. And you're like, but you don't actually have to. You could wait patiently for your game forever. Call it what it is. At least that. Now, there's legal reasons why they don't, but it still irks me. Anyways, so fine. So we have these cards over here, civilization cards. We have a, action card, advanced, and let's see some stuff with art. We have investing in the future over here. Some events, I guess. Conquer 3 or more provinces in a single turn. Don't remember what these are. It's been so long. These are going to be some of the creatures you're facing off against. If I recall correctly, I think these are the monsters you face off against, which you can take control of, sort of. I can't remember how these work. It's been a while. Anyways, Nelson Mandela, one of our leaders, immediately gained the future era card that Nelson Mandela is on. Putting it in front of you, it cannot be taken from you. We have Ahmed Baba. We have Aska Mohammed, Amani Riaz, something. We have immediately returned this card to the unrest track. Okay, just a stack of these over here. And then we got the next part of cards over here, which is going to continue from there. We got some of our cards, some actual civilizations. So again, the art in the game is beautiful. The F&B Stadium, that's cute. The Volta Dam, the Great Zimbabwe, the Cradle of Humankind, the Jebel Barkal, the Center Against Stone Circles. All of these cards. Ooh, look, technology. $32.99. Done. We got spend the amount. We have United Nations. We have rocketry, talking drums, enumeration, age grading, regional taxation. All of these things over here. That's basically what we got for these cards over here. Which means, we got one more pile of cards to go through. One more pile of cards. And we got all of these over here. The moss, stone foundations, copper mines. Again, this is a deck building game. You're going to have your starting decks over here. And then you're going to be building out your decks with, more and better cards. And let's go ahead and show you some miniatures over here. Give me 1 second to put these away. And then, let's see. We're going to put these away over here and grab the miniatures and put them down over here for us to go through. Alright, we're going to go through these miniatures over here. Is there tape on this? This does not seem like there's tape. And then we'll go through the fun Titans, because again, the Titans are one of the things that there must be tape. There's definitely tape. Here's the tape. The Titans was definitely one of the things that I wanted to go through, but again, I mentioned this a little casually at the beginning, but that €35 per Titan, I remember at the time, I remember looking at them and thinking that seemed like a lot for a single miniature. I don't love doing that. Like, CMON has done this in the past. Like, they've had their Massive Darkness campaign, and then they have, the Giant Dragon that's an extra $50. And I don't love paying that much for single miniatures, but if I want to go all in on something, sometimes I end up doing so. And sometimes I regret it, and other times I don't. It's very case by case. You definitely don't need the Giant Cthulhu or the Giant Galactus. You definitely don't need those. But I went on and, well, you know what? Let's wait till I see the Titans. I was judging these boxes as soon as I saw them, but let's wait until I see them. Anyways, we got a little tray of miniatures over here, and let's start showing you some of the various things. So you're going to have the various new factions over here with their emissaries or explorers, whatever they are. We're going to have our various heroes, and then we're going to have the various monsters we're fighting against, as well as these, which I have no idea what they are. Very intrigued by them. Are they like the equivalent of new towers? That doesn't make sense. We'd need... Are they meant to, I'm not entirely sure, but let's show you them and see what we got. So let's actually zoom in our camera a drop so we can be much closer in over here. And then we got our little towers over here. Let's see if we can show you this. In fact, let's actually blur out this so it's not as, bad looking. Alright, so we got our little huts, which are cute. I don't know if they're meant to be replacements for the towers or like something you can use in addition to them as a similar structure. Makes sense thematically, but there's only one set of them, but don't know. Either way, we're going to have these over here. Let's go ahead and grab some of these new factions so you can see them. And we got this guy over here. So you can see this guy, very Zulu-esque. Do you ever watch the movie Zulu? Like, if you haven't watched the movie Zulu, Zulu is an older movie with Michael Caine that I definitely recommend checking out. It is a banger of a movie, older for sure, but to me, Zulu definitely holds its own. although I don't think I've watched it in a bit, but I do like it a lot. So if you have the chance to check out Zulu, it is an older movie. You have to be able to appreciate older movies. I don't even know where it's streaming. If it's streaming, I don't know if you can find it, but if you can, find Zulu. It's a great movie. Anyways, going back to this over here, we got this one, and then we got this one. These are gonna be your two other factions. Now this one I find a little boring, honestly. This is like, you know, nice and thematic. The Zulu one's great. This one feels a little bit like, you know, like it could have been more interesting. To me, it could have been more interesting, but it's not, and so that's fine because they have enough overall cool stuff. Now I'll show you some of the new explorers that they have, and we'll pair them up with each one. We have the one, again, this one, I don't like this one, and I'll tell you why. This one's a little more complicated. You see, this is the one that matches the boring one, but it's not that this one's boring. It's not. I don't even think it is. It's that this one looks like one from the base game, or the expansion, the Lost Empires, or whatever the other expansion is. I don't remember where, but this looks like one that they already have. The structure, the pose, the torch, looks very similar, so not as impressed by it. I should hold them side by side to see how similar they are, but don't know. Then we have this one's going to be matching the scythe guy, the little sickle guy. Not scythe. Scythes are much larger. Scythes are large sticks with a curvy blade at the end, and sickles are small sticks with a curvy blade at the end. Just fun fact for you. But yeah, I like this one over here. Looks fine, but again, not my favorite. My favorite one, once again, is the Zulu Explorer over here. Let me see if we can find him here. Settler, Explorer, whatever they are. But yeah. This one's definitely my favorite from the new ones. But we still have more stuff, in addition to the Titans, of course, which we will get to. Let's go through the leaders of each faction, because there's leaders, then there's heroes, then there's monsters. We got more stuff to cover. We got let's go through them again. I don't know which one is this one. Okay, now these I like all of them. And in fact, I don't actually know which one these ones are supposed to go to. I know which one the Zulu one is. This one, I assume. So I assume, it's hard to say. No, it must be this way. Okay. Here's the problem I have, okay, and I'm sure this card will show me the art. This one here looks like it could be for either of the other two factions, because you see how he's got the scarf around his neck? Well, these guys got scarves around their neck. They got little scarves around their neck. Looks like it very much matches over there. But then again, these guys also kind of have scarves around their neck, as do their matching explorers. So I don't know which one this one goes with, but, you know, either way, I do like him. He's got a very cool sculpting, miniature, all that. I like the leaders for the most part the most. This one is again another solid leader over here. I like the art, I like the styling, very different. So great miniature over here. And then my favorite again is the Zulu miniature. I don't know if they're officially Zulus, by the way. I'm just calling them that because they very much give me the vibes of the Zulus. So I don't know if that's officially like that. That whole shield and all that. Like, you ever read Tintin in the something? I don't know I don't remember where it was. The Kara, no, I can't remember what it's called. There's a Tintin book. Tintin's a great book. Have you read Tintin? We have Zulu. You have homework now, by the way. You have Zulu to watch, and you have Tintin in the Congo. The Congo, that's what it was. It was Tintin in the Congo. Okay, one of the many Tintin books. Tintin's great. I think some of the stuff in it can definitely be a little dated and culturally insensitive. That's definitely true with Tintin. A variety of Tintin books are culturally insensitive. I don't have how do you balance that stuff? How do you wrestle that stuff where it's like something that you're like reading it today, you're like, ew, this makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but also I have fond childhood memories, so, and like, do you pass that stuff on to your kids? Like, I don't even know. Like, these lines get very weird very quickly. But, speaking of lines that are, well, I don't know, I was gonna have a tangent there and I didn't. We have this hero over here, who's kind of boring. Nothing personal, just, you know, I like my heroes with swords and shields, not like modern political figures. Then we have over here, another one that's not super interesting. Again, you know, it's fine. I just like the swords and shields part. It's just the violence. It's the violence that does it for me. We'll just figure out where this one goes, and then find two more for you. Now, these ones both have swords, so I'm interested in them. Also, any weapon of choice would do. It doesn't have to be a sword. Sickles, scythes, axe, halberds, spears, pikes, maces, flails, I don't know, anything else, rapiers, dueling blades, sai, shurikens, bows and bows for that matter. There's like the two bows. There's the bow with a W and there's the bow without a W. They're both different kinds of weapons. One is very close range and one is very far range. Crossbows, ballistae, arquebuses. Arquebuses are great. Do you ever play Shogun Total War? You remember like the arquebus troops and like moving them all in? There's a lot. That's not going to go on your homework list. If you want a game to play on your homework list, play Factorio. The new Space Age expansion just came out and I have been desperately not playing it so I can actually get work done. But soon. Anyways, we got our various monsters here. If you're currently playing Factorio Space Age, let me know, because I'm very interested in that. But you know what I am playing, because my son has an obsession with Space Marines? You guessed it, Space Marine 2. I went ahead and bought it, paid full price for that game. I usually buy games only on sale. Like when I'm buying video games, I almost always wait till it's like a 50% off sale at some point. Sometimes even lower, depending on my interest in it. And then I buy it then. And Space Marine, I did not do that because I made the mistake of showing my son gameplay footage of it. And he's like, I want to play it. And I was like, I could show it to you and say not yet, or I could buy it. And I do want to play it too, so I bought it. I'm totally regretting it, by the way. It's not worth $60. Space Marine is an okay game at best. Like, the visuals of Space Marine, if you've played Space Marine, let me know your thoughts down below, because I think Space Marine, the video game right now that just came out, I think the visuals are top-notch. The rural building is top-notch. The theme is top-notch. The gameplay is top-notch for around 45 minutes, and then it's boring. That's what the gameplay is. The gameplay is straight up boring. I don't have a better way of saying it. I am continuing to play it because I heard it's a 10-hour campaign, and I will give it 10 hours. I'm already like 4 hours into it, and I'll give it 10 hours to finish it off. So like, I feel that sense of completion aspect, and I'll probably try some of the PvE or PvP or whatever it is and see how it is. But ultimately, I think the main point of it is a game where I can play it on easy mode with my son and have him, you know, go through it and play it. But the problem with it is the gameplay is incredibly smooth, but nothing really shifts that much, like, game to game. It gets incredibly boring incredibly quickly. That's my own 2-second review of Space Marine. Amazing game for the first hour. After that, wish I had spent my money on other things instead. Although, to be fair, at least that I got right away instead of like 4.5 years later like this. So, you know, pros and cons, pros and cons. Now, I hate these kinds of packs because I'm going to stab myself while I try opening this. So let me see if I can do this without stabbing myself, because I think that is my preferred way of opening things. Not stabbing myself, to be very clear. Let me give it some proper attention so I can not stab myself, because again, goals in life. Okay, nope, we need to go a little further this way, which is where I get to stab myself again. I don't like this one bit. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. You combine a knife that is nowhere near sharp enough with the worst form of packaging ever invented by any human being ever. You'd think in 2024 we'd be past this, and to be fair, it has been a long time since I've opened a package like this, so I would argue they're getting less frequent, but also, maybe I'm just not buying the kinds of things that have this kind of packaging. It's the worst. Like, there's no openings, there's no safe openings. You risk yourself when you're cutting it open or any form, and then you risk yourself on the very sharp edges that you create, and it's the worst. It's the worst. We should be past this, okay? That's the board gaming needs. Dry erase markers that actually work, and packaging that doesn't cut yourself when you open it. Either way, these coins I like. They're nice. I'm happy to have these. Like, they're nice, you know. I like the overall heft. They're not on the thin side, not on the thick side. They're just right as far as coins go. And we have, you know, cool fancy coins for our Monumental game now. So that's fun. We also have the upgraded resource packs, which I'll show you too before diving into the final Titans over here. We got these, which are, I think these I was a little mixed on when I got them. I think I'd have to look at the campaign. I probably got them because it's part of an all-in, but these I was mixed on because I find plastic tokens like this, if you paint them, or specifically if you airbrush them, like, not airbrush, dry brush them. If you dry brush them, meaning if you kind of like give them a little prime and then just dry brush the surfaces so they stick out, they can look absolutely beautiful if you take the time to do something like that. And maybe I will. I have finally started opening up my painting center again. Painting center makes it sound like I have a school for painting. I don't. What I mean by painting center is, I mean, I took all the painting supplies out of the closet and put it into an actual room where they're available, so painting is much easier than like a whole process to uncover everything that you weren't actually using. So that part's better there. But I think, you know, I'm going to try to table Monumental soon. We'll see. There's lots of homework on the list to play, but I'm going to try to table Monumental. And if I do, and if I still like it, and my group still wants to play it again with me, then I might take the time to dry brush and prime and dry brush those, because I think things can look pretty nice with not a ton of extra work, and I would like to do that for games that I enjoy and a game that I waited this long for. That's the worst part, by the way, because here's the thing when it comes to games and crowdfunding and all that, and I don't know what your experience is, you can let me know, but I definitely back games that then show up and I'm no longer excited for. And sometimes I will play it again and be like, that's why I was excited about this 3 years ago. That does happen. And other times, I don't get to the playing it again part, I just get it and I'm no longer excited. That does happen. It's definitely the minority, but it is a thing that happens. And so you spend money on these games, and enough time goes by and it shows up and you're like, I don't know if I need to play that. Like, I don't need to. I have so many games that I want to play. Like, is that something that's high on my list? And so it is nice when a game shows up like this where I don't have that at all. There's not a single part of me that's like, I don't want to play this. No, I want to play Monumental. Now, whether or not I get to it now, next week, next month, or even if 3 years go by and I don't, that's a different conversation. But at least I want to play it. At least it's here, and I'm like, I would like to table this again. Now, I don't know if I actually want to table with the expansion yet. I want to table the base game again just to jump back into it, and then go to the expansion, because I like doing that, and that's the problem. It means I need at least a few plays before I can get to this, but hey, let's do it. So, we have our cards over here. We have our Titan expansion. Don't know much about how these actually work, by the way. I'm sure I looked into it a bit when I actually was on crowdfunding, but now it's not on crowdfunding, and it's years later, so now it's just an expansion I backed. Now, we do have our miniature in here. Do we have tape on it? We do have tape on this. So we basically just have 2 miniatures left to show you, and then this unboxing's over. That's where we're up to. But we have gotten a variety of topics that are worth covering from, you know, oh, that's not pretty. That's not pretty. Well, we're about to find out how much I care about Monumental and how I'm about to revise the storage solution, because in here, we got little mold spots. Mold spots in the box. There's no silica gel packet in the box, and also, given the whole nature of the story of this game, is I wonder just how long this has actually, been in a warehouse waiting for someone to pay the bills and have them ship it out. So I think we're going to take all this stuff out, and we're not going to put that back in the box. We're going to leave this. We're going to put this away. I'm going to leave the expansion miniatures out because I don't think they need to be in this box. I'm going to hold on to this in case I actually turn around and sell it, but for right now, I might just purge all the inserts and finally just store all my Monuments together. So, let's take a look at this miniature, because we have our first Titan over here. First Titan, this is going to be the Titan miniature over here. So, it looks cool. Again, the details are great. This looks, I remember they had these renders at the time, the crowdfunding campaign, but the renders did look cool. This does look cool. All things are, I'm happy that overall, like the detail, again, the price point for what you're getting, I think is not great. But the actual miniature is pretty nice, so I'll call it a partial win. And I do like how the tower it's breaking is like the tower from the base game. So it's like a nice little touch, like it's crushing the towers in the game. And this Titan will have to be dealt with in some way. The Behemoth will have to be dealt with. So that's Behemoth number 1. Let's check out Behemoth number 2. More importantly, box number 2, which equally has mold issues. So box number 2, again, we got our mold right there through it. So now I kind of want to take a look at this. Do we have mold in here? Doesn't look like it. Does not look like we got mold in the base box. So I do wonder, like, what causes that? Were there silica gel packets in the base box? Or is there just mold that I don't see? No, there's no. The Titan boxes both have mold. Which again, I'm not that upset about it because I am somebody who would consolidate anyway, assuming I like it. But it's annoying now because now I'm in this like, okay, well, now I'm kind of being forced to consolidate. Like, I've never actually consolidated all my Monumental. And by consolidate, what I do with all-ins when I like a game is I basically dump as many boxes as possible, put everything in bags usually, or sometimes a storage solution that's like a custom storage solution. And I go with that because the fewer boxes, the better. That helps me actually store and keep more games. So fewer boxes is a good thing, but in this case, these boxes are going to go off to the side, like I said, and we'll deal with that later. And we got Titan number 2 over here. So we got our 2 Titans, and then we're going to call it over here. Titan number 2, this Behemoth, I think it's Behemoth, but I'm not actually sure. But either way, we got our giant freaking tail. We got another tower being torn, but not actually one of the towers that we have, I think. I think that one's different. And we got a very, very angry person who has not had his morning coffee yet. And so he'll be the other Behemoth. And that's kind of where this ends, because I don't think we're going to see more Monumental. I'd be very surprised if we did, unless somebody picks up the line, which could happen. There's a lot. Very often when companies go through these things, people do sell their lines of games. And I think Monumental is a good game, and I do need to try out Monumental Duo because I'm intrigued by that as well. Anyways, that's going to be it for our unboxing. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.